Alright, a little homework help here for tonight. Let's see what we got. Alright, the first one's asking us to evaluate some square roots. Alright, so remember we talked about this. If I see the radical sign, okay, what I'm looking for here, I'm looking for the positive answer only. I don't want both. I just want the positive answer. So for the first one, if I'm looking here, I see the radical sign here, so I'm going to help you out with this first one. The answer to that one is just 9. And the other two, you don't see the radical sign, so you should be giving me something other than a positive answer. Alright, number 2, circle rational or irrational. So remember what we talked about in class, the only 3 types of irrational numbers that we're going to fool with in 8th grade, we're looking at pi, anything pi, anything we call ... remember we call this a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal, or a non-perfect square root. So unless it's one of these 3 numbers, it's going to be rational. Okay, so let's look at really quick. Let's look at one. I don't mind helping you out. So if I'm looking here, let's look at number 9. Number 9, is it ... Is it pi, or is it a non-perfect square root? Nope. Remember, we talked about this. All fractions are rational unless the zero's in the denominator. Why? Because it's a fraction, but also it's a ratio between 2 numbers. I can turn this into a decimal. Alright, so remember, looking up here, look at these 3, and then check, make sure it's not one of those. Estimate. Oh, we've worked a bunch of these in class, right? So remember, the first thing I'm looking for, remember you want to find the perfect square roots on either side. Okay, this is going to ask you to the tenths. So when you set these up, remember your first perfect square root, and then you're going to create your fraction. Remember this number minus this number, and then we're going to go this number minus this number. I will help you out a little bit to start with. Remember, the first perfect square root to the left of 28 is 25. To the right will be 36. Okay, so now just set up your ratio. That's going to be between 5 and 6. Now you tell me what it is the rest of the way. Alright, let's go to the back page. Oh, same thing here. This one is just asking me to put it on the number line between what 2 perfect squares. So remember, you got to look at where would it go on the number line. Okay, so you draw your number line. Okay, now you got to actually draw me a dot where it goes. So, but you got to find your perfect square here and your perfect square here. Now you tell me these 2 numbers, these 2 perfect squares, and then you put the dot somewhere. It's not going to be, I don't know where it's going to be. You tell me. Alright. Cube roots. Alright, we talked about cube roots. Remember, what this is asking me for is a number that I can multiply times itself. This 3 is saying 3 times. Basically what this thing is asking you right here, what is the cube root of 64? Alright, use your graphic organizer to find the cube root of 64. And then same thing here. Remember, I don't need anything here. These 2 are going to be similar answers, but if you look, this has a negative, so that maybe will give you a hint to that one. Alright, I'm not going to do these for you, but we'll talk about these. So remember here on your graphic organizer, I'm doing these, I'm dividing the same bases. So that should tell you to subtract your exponents. Okay. This one here, remember we talked about, y'all did really well on this one. Okay. Now here I have a coefficient. So remember on these, we're going to do the coefficient first, and then we actually do the operation. And then this one becomes exactly what we did up here. So just kind of help you out with this one. So remember, with the first, I'll go back up here. So what I have is same base, so keep the base, subtract my exponents. So my answer is c to the 4th power. Let me fix that 4 for you. Okay? So remember to divide here. Now, you guys are really doing really well with these. These are the ones I want to talk about really quick. Remember, these 2 bases are different. I can't multiply bases that are different. So all of our basically going to do is I'm going to treat the left side by itself. Then I'm going to treat the right side by itself. Okay, so work this out first, and then you're going to multiply this times this. Once you work them both out, but you can't get this multiplication. This is not 12 to the 4th power. No. Okay, so think about it. This is the different base. Just work them out. These 2 are done the same bases. Look at your graphic organizer. What does it say do? Alright. Now down here, this is a little different. The difference between this one and this one, my -4 and my 5 are now coefficients. And if you look on your graphic organizer, We can multiply these, but we have to add these guys. Alright, so now solve that one out. Remember, make sure you can finish it all the way out. Next one, we have a power to a power. Remember, we call this piggyback, but remember, all we're going to do, that means to multiply. Multiply your exponents. Same concept here. 1, 2, 3 rainbows. But remember, when you finish, you have a base here that's not a variable, so you can actually give me an answer for this number. So we'll work this one out as you do it, and let me know what it is tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow, okay? All right, have a good evening.